What's up guys, it's Jamie, welcome back. I'm going to do a follow-up from my last video where I took a look at the Saddle Brown leather sleeve. I had ordered each of the colors and the Saddle Brown was the first one that came in, so I unboxed that and kind of gave you a quick overview of it. Well, each of the other colors have come in, so I'm going to review all of those with you today. So the colors that we're going to be looking at are the Baltic Blue, Product Red, Saddle Brown again, and then Pink Citrus. Each of these colors are available in the leather case as well. There are two emissions. You can get the leather case in black as well as California Poppy. I think it's interesting that they decided to only go with these four colors. I'm not sure the reason for that, but I am interested to check these out. Right off the bat, the red is actually catching my eye more than I anticipated. So what I'll do is I'll show each of these in detail so you can get a good feel for the differences in the colors, how they compare to one another. Also, you'll be able to see the difference in the tone of this versus the leather case. I do have the leather case in the Baltic Blue, so I'll show you side by side. The leather is a little bit of a higher quality in these sleeves, and I think it lends to just a slight difference. So if you've seen them in the leather case, so if you've seen like Pink Citrus in the leather case, it is a very similar color, but I do think that in these sleeves, the color presents itself just a touch better with the high quality leather. Before we get into it, don't forget to give the video a quick like and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Once again, here we have Pink Citrus, Saddle Brown, Baltic Blue, and Product Red. So here's a close look at the Pink Citrus leather sleeve. Similar to in the leather case, it's just a brighter case. It's not like a full in-your-face pink color. It has some reddish tones to it, which I think lends to a better, much more elegant design. Not as like kitty, but it's still also being playful. You can see a close-up of the cutout as well as the stitching work. You'll see in a lot of the cases, the stitching towards the bottom gets a little clumped. I don't think that that's anything against the overall craftsmanship. I think it's more of just how in the process when you get towards the end of the stitching, it just kind of bulks up a little bit here. Interesting thing to note, on the inside of the strap on both the Pink Citrus and the red, this tone on the Pink Citrus and the red, it's darker, and they're almost the exact same tone. So you have the lighter color on the outside with the darker tone on the inside. Here's one last look at the front. I will also compare this to the red color so you can get a difference between the two. Here's a look of my phone as I slide it into the Pink Citrus case so you can see the indication that you get. You can see that the phone and the screen on the front now coordinates with the Pink Citrus color tones. So here's a look of the red leather sleeve. As I said before, I think I would call this is probably my favorite color. I think when you go for this type of a design, you're looking for something maybe a little bit different. I think it works really well in this form factor. I think it's pretty cool looking. Here's a nice look at the back. You can see the stitching and the details in the back. Also pointing out stitching in the bottom in this as well. Here's a look at the inside of the strap. As I mentioned before, it's very similar to the color that you see on the inside of the Pink Citrus. When I reviewed the red case in just a leather case, it wasn't really something that I would have gone with, but I think in this, if I was going to use this leather sleeve, I think that this would be a case that I would definitely have high up in consideration. Here's a look at the red case as I slide my phone in. Showing the indication, color changing with the red case. It's kind of have a black background with the numbers showing up in red. I actually think that's a pretty cool look with the black up against the red. So just for reference, here is Pink Citrus up against red. Very, very close in color. It's not drastically different, but a little bit more of a pinkish hue here with a true blood red. And then here you have the back for reference as well. Out of these, I definitely prefer the red color. And here we have Baltic Blue. Baltic Blue is a color that I really like on my iPhone 12 Pro. I have this in the normal leather case. This is my everyday, day-to-day case, so I'm a big fan of this color. I think it does work well in the leather sleeve, but I kind of think that the red is just a little bit better in this application. Look at the front, closer look at the stitching. I'll flip it around so you can see the stitching in the back. Let's look at the cutout. I think they've done really well with the overall craftsmanship. I'm not a huge fan of the overall like sleeve design aspect. One thing that I do like on the Baltic Blue color is how the strap looks. The inside of the strap is this kind of Carolina baby blue color. I think it kind of presents a cool little two-tone effect. You know, looking at this, I think it'd be actually pretty interesting if they made a leather in this color as opposed to just the darker blue. And here's a look of sliding my phone into the Baltic Blue case. I see the indicator window coordinating. I think that looks really awesome. The sky blue and the darker blue numerals. It's definitely a cool touch. I like how they do that with each of the cases. I think it's a nice little hidden detail. One thing that's also interesting that I'm noticing is that a lot of the colors, they have the underside for the card slot shows up in the color of the inside of the strap. So in this instance, you do get that lighter sky blue color, which I think is really, really cool. Just for reference, I also have my iPhone 12 Pro leather case in the Baltic Blue color up against the leather sleeve. One thing to note is just how much bigger the sleeve is. Like the width of it, it's so much larger. It's almost the size, I think, of just the entire 12 Pro Max phone itself. So it's one thing to note, it's just larger size on the sleeve. But looking at the tone, like you can see the sleeve has definitely a little bit of a richer color to it. You can just tell if you do have a discerning eye that the leather just seems a little bit nicer, a little bit smoother on the sleeve versus the normal leather case. One would hope that that's the case when you consider the $129 price tag versus $59 for this. I do wish that whatever leather that they have in here, I don't think it's the same in this. I would actually pay more money in this case to get this quality leather. And then just to finish up, here's the saddle brown color. I already did a video on this before, so I will just show it very quickly. I think that you can't go wrong with the brown color. I think in this instance, it's a little more traditional. I'd maybe want to step outside of the comfort zone a little bit and go for something with a little bit more of a pop of color, but could not disagree with anyone wanting to go with this color. Here's what it looks like when I slide the phone in. A little bit of a brown undertone in the window with the darker numerals behind it. I think the blue and some of the other colors look a little bit nicer when you slide the phone in, but that's just personal preference. And then just for comparison's sake, I will put here's the Pink Citrus up against the Baltic Blue, just so you can get an idea of the different colors. Personally, out of these two, I do like the Baltic Blue better. And here you have the Baltic Blue versus the red. These would probably be my two favorite colors. I think in this setting, I'd be more inclined to go with the red, just to go a little bit different. When looking at the overall quality of the leather sleeve, there's definitely a difference in the leather you're gonna see here versus what's contained within just the normal leather case. It's much softer, it's much smoother, It has like a richer tone to it. It also translates in the smell. Like it smells like legit leather. You can smell it from a distance as well, versus this. I know that this is considered leather. I just don't know what quality it is, what grain it is. This definitely is a step above. I think that the way that this is going to wear and crease and patina is going to be a little bit nicer as well. But when considering the overall price point at $129, unless if you really enjoy the functionality of this, I think that that's a hard pill to swallow, considering that this is $59. And also when looking at maybe some of the other cases that are on the market that aren't from Apple. Personally, I would like to see if they could take this type of leather and put it into this case. Also, with the overall craftsmanship, there's a little bit more going on from a detail perspective, and I would like to see that in the leather case as well. I'd pay a premium to get nicer leather, better craftsmanship, more details in the regular case, as opposed to, you know, getting something in this form factor. When I look at functionality, this strap, I guess for some people, it can be helpful. There could be a use case for this. The way that I use my phone and carry my phone, this just would be more cumbersome and annoying. So if I was to use this case, I would most likely just take the strap off. But then also when looking at utilizing your phone within just the sleeve, you can't interact with your phone once it's in here. There is no way to answer calls or messages through the window here. It's nice that you can see when calls are coming in, but you can't interact with it. So you can just notice that someone's calling, and then you have to pull your phone out of the sleeve. If there was some sort of a software update that will allow you to slide to unlock to answer calls, I guess maybe that could be an improvement. Having the cutout down here, I'm assuming that you're going to be able to still speak with the individual. They'll be able to hear you normally. But even with that being said, I still don't think that I could justify spending $129 on this. I think that if they were to go a little bit further and make this like a real like folio, I think that they would really open up that potential buyer market, because right now I feel like the buyer market for a case of this function and this price point, it's got to be very, very slim. Every single time you're going to want to interact with your phone, you're going to have to slide it out of the sleeve. And I just don't know how practical it is. When you think about trying to answer emails or text messages, you're going to be sliding in and out of the phone very, very often. When I look at the different color options, the two that I like the most are the Baltic Blue and the red. I already do have the Baltic Blue in just the normal leather case. I think that in this form factor, I do prefer the red. I hope you guys found the video helpful. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.